So yeah, in Texas, over 100 teachers fired or under investigation or social media posts. Free speech does come into question at this point. And I want to approach this kind of the way that right wingers would approach it. So their concern has always been that education is somehow indoctrination. I've heard it said best that the truth often has a liberal bias. So based on that interpretation of facts, the more facts that people learn, the more they will see that there is a liberal philosophy to indeed the universe. And I believe that to be true. You know, education, traveling, experiences, those sorts of things expand people's frame of reference. Okay. However, historically speaking, Republicans, certainly in modern history, have looked to educated peoples and education as though it's somehow liberal indoctrination. And their push has always been, let's keep your personal opinions out of the classroom. Now, if this was an attack by Republicans in Texas on what teachers were teaching in the classroom, sure. Sure. It's consistent with your, your brand philosophy, education is indoctrination. Sure. you don't appreciate education. Sure. Etc. But this took place outside of the classroom. And then the spin here is that they're saying that these teachers were inciting violence. And based on what I've seen, none of these teachers were inciting violence. They just did not appreciate what it is that this man stood for. And the reaction of half of the country is surprising. And this is the part where, one half of the country pushes back like, hey, politics, just because my politics reflect this reality doesn't mean I'm racist. Okay. And the rest of us say, well, the fact that you can ignore the racism to find your politics feels like textbook racism. Like racism isn't necessarily saying the N-word or going out of your way. Racism is the invisible part too. The people that are complicit, that just go along, that just swim in the stream, right? And you don't have to push with your whole life and put your body on the line, but to swim along with it. And the overwhelming push on that side is either based in racism, based in erasing or shifting the optics around that racism, or it's simply a matter of, them being complicit while other people do the racism for them. And they pick a thing that they like. Oh, I'm just a fiscal conservative. And then they just swim in that stream, ignoring that it changes fundamentally the material reality for the rest of us on the ground in the United States of America. And there's a stunning silence. They're surprisingly okay with that. And these teachers pointing that out is not inciting violence. I wonder what the state of the country will be when we're all speaking Mandarin, because indeed, this is the fall of the Roman Empire. And they couldn't be bothered. They're so happy right now. So, and they're not, now that I mention it, they're not even happy. They're still mad. And I wish somebody was happy besides billionaires and exceptionally wealthy people, but they're cheering while Rome burns. So